Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a brand new video. Welcome to a surprising midweek video. If you're not new here, then welcome back. If you are new here, hi, I'm Amelia and I upload all kind of book content. Let's get on with it. So basically, this is a random midweek throw in there video, but basically we are at mid-year. I wanted to get this video up in the month of June because we are halfway through the year. However, I knew if I left it any longer, if I put it any longer on a Saturday, all my other videos will be outdated because I film it so much in advance. So I figured we're gonna have a spontaneous, random midweek video. So hi, I don't usually post on a Wednesday, but here we are. And if you haven't gathered by the title or what I've just said, we are doing the mid-year freak-out tag. I usually only remember to do it when I see other people post it and I go, oh my god, I need to do that. This year, I have done it before anyone's posted it, so I've taken the questions from Jamie Foxx's video from last year for this. And they are usually the same every year, just with maybe something else added in, but I've just done from what I've seen. I've got all the questions on my phone. I will be looking at my phone because I've also answered them on my phone, so I can pretty much just go through them. I only have 4 of the physical books here. Two of the ones I will be talking about are on my chest of drawers over there, but it was going to cost a lot of effort to try and move them, and I really didn't want to make a mess, so I just left them. So apologies, I won't be showing them to you. However, let's get on with it. So for the first question, we have best book you've read so far this year. I have put 3 on here because I couldn't narrow it down to 1. So my top 3 is Breaking Point by Mads Rafferty. This book is a very, very recent read. I read this at the end of May and absolutely loved it. It was just a beautiful story about grief, about love, about friendship, about everything, and it was just it felt so real, but in like the best way possible, but also in the most emotional way possible. It really broke me, but in a good way. I loved it so much. So yeah, if you haven't read it, it's about a girl called Bella and a guy called Grayson, and Grayson is an ice hockey player, and Bella becomes his personal assistant and ends up fake dating him to get his PR, like his so it looks like he's got his act together so he can look like a kind of a better person and stuff. So, and I love fake dating as it is, so it was really fun to read, and I honestly only picked it up because I was wanting an ice hockey romance after finishing the off-campus series. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Then we have 2 books I actually physically can show you. We got Call It What You Want by Alice Derogatis. I cannot say her last name, but I absolutely adored this book. I read this very, very quickly, but I was just hooked. I absolutely loved the story. It is about a girl called Sloane who basically is in a situationship. And I've been in situationships before, but never for as long as Sloane has been in for it. But at the same point, I know what she's feeling. I could tell what she's feeling. So it felt so relatable because of it. And I absolutely loved it so much. And I had such a fun time reading this book. I honestly want to read it again. I won't read it again just yet, but I will probably read it again at some point else and just actually annotate it, because that's what I wish I did when I read it. But sadly, I didn't annotate it. I just wanted to read it, and I did, and it was so much fun. Such a good and interesting story, but also felt so, like I said, felt so real. So yeah, that was another one of my favourites. But if you have been here for the last few months, you might know what my favourite one of all time this year is, and it is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. This book is my first Kristen Hanna book, which is why I picked up Nightingale like a couple of months ago, and I struggled to get into it. And I think the reason is because I'm still holding on to the fact that how much I love this from the get-go. And I'm like, I know they're very different books. This is a beautiful story about friendship. The friendship is very toxic, and there's times when you're thinking, why are you still friends? But, and I say but, it is, I feel like, shows how it doesn't matter how different you are. You can be so different and still have someone who's your best friend. Like, we follow Tully and Kate, and they're two very different people, but they are two people who find their way to each other at a point when they both needed each other, and that's how they basically became best friends for life. And it's just such a beautiful, beautiful story. I loved it so much. This is the first book in a long time I actually annotated, and honestly, I literally I annotated it so much. I love this book so much, to the point where I buy books for my friends for birthdays. My friends who I know like to read for their birthdays. That is how much I love it. I feel like everyone should read it, but I don't want to give my copy away. I'm gonna keep this book for life, like this one, and I love it so much. But that's my favourite best books I've read so far. I have probably got more I could put in it, but they're the ones I feel like are my favourite reads of the year. There are so many other great books that I've read and rated 5 stars and loved, but those 3 are my top 3, like top number 3s. Best sequel you've read so far? I haven't read a sequel, because like I've always read the things like trilogies and series, so I put my favourite second book of a series, and that is Glow of the Other Flame. I started my Kindred's Curse saga series reading this year, and actually I'm up to date on it so far, and I absolutely loved Glow of the Other Flame. It was like by far one of my favourite second books in a fantasy series ever. Dare I say, it could not be better than Akamuff, but it's close enough. It's the same. I had the same feeling with Glow as I did with Akamuff. So, if you don't know what Akamuff is, I mean, A Court of Mist and Fury. Like, I loved Glow the same way I felt about that. So, yeah, absolutely adored Glow of the Other Flame. And I loved Heat of the Other Flame as well, and I cannot wait. We'll move on to that in a moment, but I am very much happy I read the Kindred's Curse series, but Glow was just amazing. New release you haven't read yet and want to. I have a couple. I have Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. This book, I haven't read an Elsie Silver book at all this year, and I've still got Wildcard on my TBR as we speak. Hopefully by the time this goes up I would have finished it, but I don't know. This book has been one of those ones I've heard about, I haven't heard many people talk about it, but Fever Dream is just a book I really want to read because I love Elsie Silver. And another one is No Matter What by Cara Bastone. I've read Ready or Not and Promise Me Sunshine, and I really want to read No Matter What. Just because I've heard so many good things about it. Oh well, I've heard mixed reviews about it. I've heard some people will not like it, really not like it, and some people will love it. So I'm like, I don't know, mixed reviews, but I really would like to get to it. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I don't think you need much from me to know what I'm going to say. I have 2, and they're 2 very big ones. First of all, we have Burn of the Other Flame, which is the 4th and I think final Kindred's Curse series book. I have not read a series as fast as I read the Kindred's Curse series. I read it within 2 months. And that is the quickest I've read a series, and now it makes me realise I should probably be doing that more with fantasy series. If I've got a series and I've got them out, I might just continue back to back to back, because it will help me stay in it. But oh my god, I cannot wait for Burn. When I found out the release date is in September the 8th, I'm pretty sure, and I will be making sure I've got the money to go to the bookstore or Amazon it and buy it and get it straight out there so I can read it. To be fair, I'm hoping it'll be on Kindle Unlimited like the other ones were, because that's how I actually read them, but I would love to add it to my little thing there. But also, if it is on Kindle Unlimited, I won't buy it until it comes out paperback, because my other one's on paperback, I don't want it in hardback. And then my other one is ACOTAR 6, because that is coming out in October or November. I didn't check dates before this, I should have probably done that. But those 2 books, that book is, I'm so excited for it. And the reason I'm excited for it is because after that we have the 7th one that comes out on my birthday next year. And I'm so beyond excited, to the point where I'm going to be asking my parents for that for my birthday present. And I will just be like, look, we'll get it on the day it comes out. I'll just order it on Amazon for myself. I do want to do an ACOTAR reread. If you have been following my YouTube this year, I have actually DNF'd the Throne of Glass series, and I said I'm going to try and start it back up again. I don't have that effort of wanting to pick it back up and start again. Like, people all talk about it, so I'm tempted sorry, I thought I saw a spider and I was not here for that. I am tempted just to watch recap videos. I know that doesn't give it all, but I found that was really helpful, so maybe I'll do that. I have got the Crescent City series books to read on my Kindle as well, but again, I don't have that inkling of I want to pick it up right now, so I I don't know, but I do want to do my review of Akatar, so maybe that will happen soon, near the time it comes out. But Akatar 6 I'm so excited for. Okay, biggest disappointment. So I have two for this. First of all, I have Falling Hard for the Royal Guard. This just did not hit the way I expected it to. I was really excited going into it. I was thinking this is going to be really good. I didn't think it was going to be 5 stars. I definitely thought it was going to be a cheesy romance. I was going to be like at least 3.5, 4 star. Like, that's what I was expecting. I really was really excited. I read it and I was like, I was very disappointed. Didn't give me what I felt like it was going to give me. I just didn't love it as much as I would have hoped to have enjoyed it, and I think it just became a bit of a letdown. So I don't really remember much of the story because I just wanted to finish it, and I kind of wish I didn't left it, but here we are. So yeah, Falling Hard for the Royal Guard is my biggest disappointment, one of my biggest disappointments of the year. The other one is, and I feel bad saying it because I love Abby Jimenez, but Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. I didn't hate this book, I just didn't love it. I think it was my least favourite of her books. I think my least favourites is that and Part of Your World. And I enjoy Part of Your World, but I definitely didn't love it. Like, Yours Truly is what I really enjoyed. But what got me really into her books was The Friend Zone and the Happy Ever After playlist. Like, those two books were what gripped me into her writing. So yeah, but I just did not love Life's Too Short. So, which I was kind of sad about it because it did follow along the storylines from the Friend Zone series and like the Happy Ever After playlist, because it was the guy who Sloane went on a date with in Happy Ever After playlist. But I didn't like the story at all. I got bored. I'm sorry. Biggest surprise. Both my biggest surprises are thriller books, because I have got into my thrillers this year. If you have seen my videos the last few years, I was I'm a romance and romantic girly. That is it. So if I keep moving, it's because I've got pins and needles on my foot and I'm just trying to get some feeling back into it. However, I have started my reading of thrillers books this year, and mainly Frida's books. I won't lie to you, I've read quite a few of Frida's thriller books this year because I'm working my way through her backlist. And every time I'm working my way through, she then releases another one, so... however, the two I've got is, the first one is There's No Place Left to Hide by Megan Lally. This book really did surprise me. It's a very recent read, but I was surprised at how much I really enjoyed this book. I was going into it going, oh, I'm not going to enjoy it that much. It's just a bit of fun. I actually really enjoyed it. Like, I devoured it and I want to read it again. I did predict the plot twist, which I never do in any of Frida's books. But I did predict the plot twist, but I still enjoyed it, and I'm really happy that I've read it. And I do want to read her other ones, which is That's Not My Name and What We Did to Survive, because they both look very interesting just by the covers. Because I feel like the covers give an idea of what's going to happen when the actual main body of the story unfolds, and love it. Absolutely love it. Love this book. And the other one is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. Now, like I said, I've been reading more of her books, mainly her books, but this book was one of the ones that stands out. It was my favourite one of hers altogether. Like, I've loved quite a few of her ones, but this one was just something that stood out as one of my, and it was my favourite. I had a great time. I had a fun time with this book. I really enjoyed it. I think I finished it pretty much in one sitting, and I was reading the majority of that at rehearsals for Joseph. Now, if you don't know what Joseph in a Technicolor Dreamcoat is, it's a musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber. Very off topic of the books, but the reason I'm saying this is because in Joseph, I don't have much downtime. I was an ensemble girl, so I literally just in the ensemble, and when I do other shows, a lot of my ensemble track is I don't do much. And that's usually what I'm signing up for. However, my last 3 shows as the ensemble, I haven't really had time to go, oh, I can sit and chill in rehearsals because I got a lot of stuff to do. Yeah, I still managed to read quite a bit, and I don't know how, but I did, and I really enjoyed that. Next question is favourite new author. Now, my favourite new author is, I'm surprised I've never read anything of hers before this year, because I'm now hooked, and it is Megan Quinn. She wrote the book Till Summer Do Us Part. That is one of the ones I think is the most popular, and there's like Bridesmaid for Hire in that series. Basically, what happened was I went on holiday with Donna, my best friend, and we made a deal, not a deal, but we basically was like, let's pick a book for each other to read. Like, we pick a book that both of us would read, but one I pick and one she picks. So I picked Picking Daisies on Sunday. She picked up some of the best parts. So that's the only reason I read it, was because Donna said about doing it. I probably wouldn't have picked it up unless she had read it and goes to me, I think you'd really like it. I picked that book up and I was obsessed. It was so bingeable. I loved every minute of it, and it felt right because I was reading it in the sun. I just had a great time. I was hooked, laughing so much. And it was really fun to be reading the same book with Donna at the same time, because she's read quite a few of the books that I've read, but after I've read them. So it was nice to actually have a book where neither of us had read it and we were reading it at the same time together, because it was quite fun. Like, I did finish it before her, but I do read a little bit faster than her. But I think her reading speed has definitely picked up. Not that that matters, but it also, reading speed is nothing. It is just it depends on how much you want to read. So, but I absolutely loved it. And then I read that book, and then I read Boyfriend, Bridesmaid for Hire. I absolutely adored that book. I absolutely adored Bridesmaid for Hire. It was such a fun. Bridesmaid for Hire was really fun to read, and I was reading it around the time I was going to my friend's wedding, so I was really already in the vibe and in the mood for a wedding very much, so it was really great. I loved it. And then I read Rules for the Summer really, really recently, and that is the book actually she's going to be discussing at an event that I probably would have been to by the time you see this this video. And I'm going to be getting a physical copy. But I did really enjoy it. I struggled at first, but I really enjoyed it. And I think Megan Quinn might be my new auto-read author. I really like the books, and I'm really catching up on her backlog. I'm planning to read as many of her books as possible, because I really just enjoy her writing. I find it so, like, she's got wit and humour to her books. Like, the stuff I love in a book is there. We then have favourite new author. No, I've just done that one. Newest fictional crush. I have 3. So we've got Grayson Crawford from Breaking Point. Needs a Breaking Bad. That's why I was getting myself confused. Breaking Point. I just think he was just ultimate book boyfriend. He was great. If you don't know the story of Breaking Point, I briefly spoke about it at the beginning, but basically Bella's mum has cancer, and the way he is with that, when he finds out it's amazing. But everything he does in that book, like, he's grieving his own loss, and when you start to get to see who he actually is, it's beautiful. And like, he is just the typical guy you'd want as a boyfriend. I love him, obsessed. Then you've got Wilder Wells from Till Summer Do Us Part. Absolutely loved him. He was so much fun to read about, because he was just so much like everything he said was like off the bat. He was very much into improv, but the way he was in that book was just, I loved him, absolutely loved him. And then we have Miles from Promise Me Sunshine. I think, again, I don't know if it is me, but books with grieving in it at the moment that I seem to love the most. But the way he was in with Lenny in Promise Me Sunshine was just like, this was a girl he didn't really know at first, and he really just tried to help her. And the way he was, I was just like, I absolutely love that man. And I was like, I need someone like that in my life for something was like to happen, because it's just amazing. He was just great. Okay, newest favourite character. So I've got Reese from In Her Own League, just because she was very much like, I know what I want, I'm going after what I want. And that, like, you don't get that many girls, so usually it's always girls going, oh, I don't know, like, I don't know, and then someone goes, well, you should just, and then eventually they go, okay, we're going to do this. And they then go after what they want. Like, the whole plot point, turning point at the end is they're going after what they want. This wasn't like that in this book. She already knew what she wanted and she went after it. And I was like, she was a girl boss. I loved it. I think she was a woman in power, and like, I think I loved reading about it because it's very motivational, and I just loved her. Then we got Nina from Knight Rider. This is by Knight Rider by Sloane Fletcher. This book was something I picked up at a whim. Fell in love. Nina she went through something so traumatic, and I just loved the way she was and her character progression through the book. Obsessed with her. Loved it. And then Belle from Breaking Point. Need I say more? I've already spoken about that book twice. This is the 3rd time it's been brought up. Absolutely love her. She's incredible. And yeah, and I'm actually going to add one I didn't write down, and it's actually 2 characters, the 3, and about the 2 books I spoke about at the beginning. So we've got Kate and Tully from Firefly Lane. Let me get the book again. This one, Firefly Lane, Kate. I just loved them individually, because they're two very different people, two very different characters. Tully is very like wild and out there. Kate is very much a bit more reserved. She wants the life with like the husband and kids, whilst Tully doesn't want, that's not what Tully wants. And it's just, but I love both of them. I think I could see myself in both the characters at points, and I absolutely loved it so much. So yeah. And then I know a lot of people didn't like her because they're like, she's just being annoying, she's just going over the same way, but I actually really like Sloane. I just think she was the epitome of something like, that's what I went through a situation, and I think we've all been there, where we've gone through it, but we always hope, and so I felt like I was relating to her at times, so I loved her. Okay, next question is, book that made you cry. Can we gonna guess which ones I'm gonna bring up? I've got Breaking Point by Mads Rafferty. Made me sob at 8:30 in the morning. Need I say more? Promise Me Sunshine, again, made me sob. Not at 8:30 in the morning, but did make me sob. Firefly Lane, very much did make me cry. In the best way possible, but it made me cry. And then a book that I haven't got to show you, and I haven't spoken about yet, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I've not read one of the Hunger Games books. I tried to read Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes after I watched the film, and I just couldn't. So I decided before Sunrise on the Reaping, and before I watched the trailer of Sunrise on the Reaping, that I was going to listen to the audiobook before it came out, because I was like, otherwise I'm never going to listen to it. And I had it as an Audible, but because I used my credit to get it once. So I listened to it, and oh my god, I was the emotional wreck, because I love the films, and I love Haymitch. He was always one of my favourite characters from the start. I just found him a very intriguing character. So of course I was like, I need to listen to this story, and oh my god, I finished the book whilst at work, and I was like, cannot be crying at work, but oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. I loved it, but it did make me cry. Book that made you happy. Okay, we've got a few. We've got Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. Absolutely loved that book. Picking Daisies on Sunday by Leanne, I can't say her last name, but Liana something, Concotti, I don't know how you say her name, but it was a really cute, fun, happy book. It's the first book I read from a holiday. So Rules for the Summer by Megan Quinn. I could have put Bridesmaid for Hire as well, because all of them made me happy, like, yeah. And then I put The Boyfriend Candidate, that I do forget that I read this year, because it was like one of the first books I picked up from the year. So yeah, I absolutely adored that book. It was so much fun, and it did really make me happy. So that is those ones. Now we're moving on to most beautiful book you've gotten this year. Well, I got that for Christmas last year, so no, I don't know. This was one I was like, I should probably think about before I film, and I'm looking at it going, I probably should have done, because I'm trying to remember what books I got this year and not last year. I think I'm going to have to go with, because it's what I got this year, not books I got last year. I've got two that I think are more beautiful. I know most people say it's not beautiful, but I do think it's beautiful. First of all, Light Luck. I just love it. It's a very simple, but also I love the cover. Yeah, so like the woven branches, that I do think is a very beautiful book cover. And I think it's stereotypical because it's a romance book as well. Oh, I don't want to ruin the book, please, no. But The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. I actually got gifted this book the other day, and I didn't, not by the author, but like someone sent it to me as a wishlist Wednesday, and I didn't, wasn't expecting it, but yeah, I think that's a really beautiful cover. Or otherwise, a book that I do forget I have, even though I got it with my birthday money, Heavenly Bodies is quite beautiful too. So it's one of those three. I actually cannot feel my foot, it really hurts. Okay, we've got, the final question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I should probably go with books that are on my 2026 TBR, because that's what I need to read by the end of the year. So, I need to read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, Roseblood by A.G. Howard, The Devil She Knows by Alexandra Bellfleur, Quicksilver by Callie Hart, 3 Lives of Kate Kay, Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, Foxglove by Adeline Grace, My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenny Levine, Love Arranged by Lauren Asher, Wild Card by Elsie Silver, The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maher, and that's it. They're the ones I should really need to prioritise because that's what's left on my 2026 TBR. However, there is a few other books on here I would like to get to before the end of the year. It's People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young, Slags by Emma Jane Unsworth. I feel like I needed to show you that and not just say the word slags because that sounds really weird. Shield of Sparrows, I would love to get to so I can get ask my parents for Rite of Sterling for Christmas. Future Saints by Ashley Winstead. Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. And a book that I haven't got physically and have not got anywhere, but Phoebe Burnham is going to lose it or something like that. That's what a book I really want to try and get to before the end of the year. And I did think before we finish this video, I wanted to kind of wrap this up with some stats of the year so far, because I feel like we should have a little stats moment in this video. And I was going to do it at the beginning, but I kind of forgot and only thought about it now. So here we are. So if you made it to the end of this video, you're going to get to my stats. I first of all want to talk to you about my reading goal of the year. So my reading goal of the year was 65 books. Now, let's be honest, this time last year, my goal was 70 books, and I just about hit it. Just about hit it. Let's be honest, this year, I think I'm going to hit my target way before December. I think my fable says I'm going to hit it by the end of July, in July, which is actually craziness. So I have currently read 54 books so far this year. And yes, I am including rereads in that because they are still books. So yeah, I read 54 books this year, and it's only middle of June when you're watching this. For me filming it, it's not even June yet. I thoroughly, what am I talking about? Am I okay? I am really shocked that I've actually managed to do that. Like, it's crazy. I've read I'd say I'm averaging at between 8 and 10 books a month, which it used to be. Let's have a look at last year quickly. It used to be averaging about 6 books a month. So, and my goal last year was 75, not 70. So yeah, I mean, last month I read 15 books. April I read 15 books. May I read 11 books. It's quite crazy how much I've read this year compared to last year. I'm not really sure how or why this happened, because in my eyes I feel like I've got busier this year, but maybe I haven't. I think maybe I'm just prioritising reading more than I was last year, but I don't know. I'd say my most read genres, surprise, surprise, is romance. We've read 7 thrillers. It says 6 mysteries, but I'm going to guess that most of them are kind of like intertwined. 8 young adults, 12 fantasy, 36 romance. My most read authors this year is not surprising, but it's Frida McFadden, where I've read 6 of her books. And then J.K. Rowling, because I've read 5 of the Harry Potter books, but it's fine. But yeah. And my average rating for the year is 4.2 stars, because I still apparently cannot not give a book a high rating, but I'm pretty happy with that because it means I had a good reading year. I'm really happy with that. But please let me know in the comments below your mid-year freakouts tag. Either by doing if you do YouTube and want to do the video, let me know. If you've done the video, I'll go and check it out. If you don't do YouTube but you want to answer the questions, please let me know in the comments some of your answers. I would love to know. And if you've got any book recommendations, feel free to let me know. And yeah, but if you did get to the end of this video, please let's think of an emoji. Please put the rainbow emoji in the comments, being that it's Pride Month. And if you got to the end of the video, but if you did enjoy, please hit a thumbs up, please comment down below, please subscribe, and I will see you again very soon with another video. Bye bye.